Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is Dan French, Wealthytainment. You guys know this is a channel really about what's going on with current events and some news that's come out. And I want to talk today about some interesting information that, you look at this campaign that's coming up. It's really going to determine, I think, what people are going to be looking at as far as the economy, inflation, and how the economy is going to go in the next 4 years. So I want to take a dive in on what's happening with Trump and also what's happening with Biden. Those look like the two front runners for both parties, and what the landscape will look like in the next 4 years. You know, if you're looking at inflation, you're looking at costs of things going up. One thing in particular, actually a couple of things I want to discuss today in this video, is that Trump came out and he was talking about drill baby drill, and he's talking about energy, gas, and how these prices have went up under the Biden administration and how they've made mistakes, and he's telling us that he's going to make a difference here. So let's listen to what Trump has to say about this situation, what direction I think the economy is going to go in the next 4 years, depending on who gets in, either Biden or Trump, which does look like the front runner. So let's listen to what Trump has to say, and then I'll come back and give you my opinion on this.
First thing you would do to help bring down the cost to make things more affordable?
Drill, baby, drill. We were energy independent. We were soon going to be energy dominant. And nobody had ever done what I did. We got oil down to $1.87. Actually, it fell lower than that in some cases. We had to save the oil companies. The price was getting so. We were doing incredibly. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country, probably the greatest economy in the history of the world. We were energy independent, soon to be energy dominant. We were going to be bigger than Russia and Saudi Arabia put together times two. We have more liquid gold under our feet than any other nation. And these stupid fools ended it. And energy went from $1.87 and even lower for gasoline, for a car. They went from $1.87 to $5, $6, $7, $8, and even $9. And your electricity bills went through the roof, your heating bills went through the roof. And that's what started inflation. And it hasn't stopped because people are paying now for bacon and for eggs and for the 2 and 3 times what it was just a little while ago. We created the greatest economy in history.
So you guys heard what he had to say, and I'm going to give you my opinion on this and digest all the information that I think is really going on with the U.S. economy. And I'm going to just come out and say that I don't think I agree with that. You know, if he wants to drill down on this, that's great. I disagree with what he's saying because it's not about just energy and those costs going up with, our electric bill and gas. It's more about we're putting more dollars in circulation, people. And that's the problem. I mean, when you spend, regardless of what administration it's in, if you keep spending erroneously over time, you're going to have these results, which is we go further in debt. You're going to have costs of things go higher and higher. With this whole thing with COVID, if you look at what Donald Trump's administration or what he's trying to accomplish, his approach is tax cuts, deregulation, and trade policies aimed to protecting American industries, right? So he's really about tax cuts. He put in the Jobs Act into law, which really helps, big business, and it really helps stimulate the economy. I don't disagree with you have to do something like that. Now, when you look at the Biden administration, their economic strategies was focusing on increasing government spending, particularly in areas like infrastructure and also clean energy and social programs. Now, it doesn't matter who's in office. What matters is how do we keep these prices from going up? And the only way to do that is, obviously, let's look at COVID. COVID was a big, factor in why some of these prices went up. But should they stay up? Is this an excuse? Should they be at the height that they're at or the level that they're at? Because right now you can see Americans right now are just really struggling month to month. Well, a lot of Americans just to survive. And I feel that it's about, it doesn't matter what administration that goes into office. You can make all these different things with tax cuts and all these things that goes on. Does it play a part? It does. But overall, inflation is really because we're erroneously spending and put more money into circulation. And I feel like this is just the aftermath of COVID and everybody getting stimulus checks and everybody getting money to survive. And so at some point, you can't just produce something and then not have an aftermath of what could happen or what is happening now, which you're seeing. We have an increase since 2022 to 2024. We've had an increase in just, you look at the natural gas prices. So that's been increased. That's a huge increase over the last 2 years. Electrical bills increased by 9.52% from 2022 to 2024. So when you're looking at these things and you're saying, well, how do you bring this down? Yeah, Trump may use oil and those things and try to say, okay, it's, we were at $1, 86 or whatever he said. But the real reason why we're having these issues is because you can't just produce money, put this amount of money in circulation, and not have an outcome of something happening here. And I think that's really the problem. It's not about the fact that, there's certain, money spent and how you're erroneously or how the government has spent money on Ukraine and other things. I don't think it really makes a difference through whatever, administration gets in there, because it's just coming down to prices are going to go up and you have no choice if that happens. Can you relieve that? Sure. I have an argument that says, maybe this natural gas prices, these prices have gone up. They're saying because it costs more to produce gas. Well, again, why does it cost more? And how does it increase that much of a percentage, over a short window of time? 20%. Electrical bills up almost 10%. Why is that? I really feel it's just everything across the board, went up. Inflation as far as the, cost of living went up after COVID. Everybody was coming back to work. And then again, everything just kind of stays where it's at. I think there's a lot of companies out there that have used this as an excuse to raise their prices. You've seen prices go across the board on things that's gone up. You look at California. California is it's a state that used this opportunity to say, hey, you know what? We're going to have to raise the minimum wage. And now you're seeing people getting laid off, or not even having the opportunity to work. They're talking about replacing a lot of these workers with robots or just, some type of artificial intelligence, because you got to think that these companies can't sustain a $20 minimum wage. It's an increase too fast, too quick. And you got to look at this, man. You got to look at the fact that this money, that is the money that they've put out that says, hey, you got to increase minimum wage. Well, you got to stay on pace with inflation with that wage earning, and businesses can't sustain that increase, such a huge increase like that in a short window of time, where it goes from, this number all the way up to here, and then literally still have a profit. Yeah, they're going to make less profit, but again, you could see what's going on. It's going to be very interesting to see what goes on with the whole situation. They're going to have a debate going on next week. And it's very interesting because I've heard also Gavin Newsom might come out and actually replace. I mean, this has been talk. It's nothing new. Gavin Newsom might come out and replace Joe Biden at the last minute. So everything that Joe comes out and says, hey, you know what? I don't know. It's very interesting because, again, I'm not into politics like that, but I do think that doesn't matter which regime actually comes in. It's just going to be the same old, hey, you know what? If you can tame inflation, if you don't spend erroneously and you don't just put money out to whatever you want to put money out to as far as the government goes, then yes, for us, it's going to be about relieving us. And they need to focus on us as Americans. I mean, everybody's always focused on the government. They're always focused on other things outside of, the U.S. And I think that's what they need to really focus on. But you guys tell me what you think is going to happen here. Do you think that whoever gets in office, is this going to change at all? Is the inflation cost, is the cost of living, everyday living for the average American, which really has no, they don't have any pull, or they don't have any, clout, if you want to call it, to make any big decisions like that. Do you think it's going to really help us having either, Trump or Biden in office? And what you guys think the outcome is? I feel like it's not going to be any outcome. I think until somebody gets in office that's for the American people and stops spending the way that we are and putting money towards things that we don't need, then it's going to be a continuous thing, and we're going to be the ones paying for it through taxes. This is Dan French, Wealthytainment. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Subscribe, like the channel, and we'll see you guys at the next one. I'm out of here.